This adorable creature is a sea moth. I didn't know about them until like a week ago, and chances are you didn't either. Let's change that. This is a sea moth. It is a type of pipefish. The moth part is just a whimsical name, and these guys have earned a lot of whimsical names. Their family is called Pegasusidae, after the Pegasus from Greek mythology. In the family there are two genuses, and they are the genus Pegasus, which is just straight up the word Pegasus, and also the genus Eurypegasus. They're a very interesting fish. They molt, which is not a normal thing for fish to do. They just molt their entire skin, possibly as frequently as every 5 days, and we think it's to get rid of parasites that might be living on their skin. They have a silly little snout, like a lot of pipefishes do. If you're not familiar with pipefish, you'll at least recognize seahorses as one of their notable members, but there's lots of different species of pipefish that I'd like to talk about eventually. These little sea moths are very short compared to their relatives, and they're just very whimsical. Sea moths are not at all related to sea butterflies, which is also a thing, but they're a type of snail, so very, very distantly related. There's only 7 species of sea moths, so luckily I'm going to be able to show you all of them. I'm not going to rank them this time because I can't pick a favorite. I lied, I can. It's the brick sea moth. First we have Eurypegasus, I'm going to butcher these pronunciations, Eurypegasus draconis, which is known as the little dragonfish or the short dragonfish. This name is terrible because it makes it seem like they're related to the dragonfish of the family Stomidae, which they're not. I mean, they're related because they're both fish, but it's a very distant relation. They are, however, related more closely to the leafy and weedy sea dragons. So if I was in charge, I would immediately rename them to the little sea dragon, or the short sea dragon, which would still be misleading because they're not sea dragons, they're more closely related. Anyway, it's still misleading, but the vibes would be there. It would be closer. There would be an element of truth. This is one of the species of sea moths that is hunted for its use in traditional medicine. That is going to be a recurring theme here. Next, we have the Hawaiian sea moth fish. For some reason, the other ones are just sea moths, and this one's a sea moth fish. Common names don't make a lot of sense. It is known as Eurypegasus papilio, and papilio means butterfly, not moth, so. As the name might suggest, it is endemic to Hawaii, and there's not a lot of information on them, so I'm just going to move on. Moving into the genus Pegasus, we have Pegasus lancifer, the sculptured sea moth. Spot on name, they look very sculptured. They look like clay, which is not a coincidence because apparently they like to camouflage by hiding in the mud, and they can even change their color to look more muddy, to blend in better with their environment, kind of like an octopus or a chameleon in a cartoon. I'm not trying to get involved in the do chameleons actually change color to match their surroundings debate. Pegasus lancifer live in Australia. Up next we have the brick sea moth, also known as the long-tailed sea moth. Pegasus laternarius. It has other common names, but they're some variation of dragonfish, which is silly. This is another species that is used to create traditional medicines, and those medicines are used to treat things like cough and diarrhea. I don't know. Are they too cute to eat, or would you eat one if it meant getting rid of your diarrhea? Let me know in the comments. I love their stripy tail and their googly eyes. They look like Muppets. All the sea moths look like Muppets, but this one in particular looks a lot like a Muppet, and I love the Muppets. Next up, we have Pegasus sinensis, which was discovered in 2022, very recent, newest addition to the sea moths. It's called the Chinese sea moth. Then we have Pegasus volitans, which is called the long-tail sea moth. That's long tail. The long-tail sea moth, it's not the long-tailed sea moth, which is Pegasus laternarius. If that's not confusing, then I don't know what is. Finally, on the list we have Pegasus tetrabelos. Pegasus tetrabelos. It doesn't get a common name, which is sad, except it's not sad. It's exciting because that means I get to call it whatever I want and just kind of hope that it catches on. So I'm going to call them the dart sea moth because they look at them. They look like I could just. They're caught as bycatch in shrimp nets, or they're also caught intentionally for the medicine industry or traditional medicine industry, and also for the pet fish industry, the pet trade. I get it, they're cute, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want one, but we don't know a lot about them or like what kind of things they need. And we also, there insufficient data on the ICNU red list, so we don't know. Honestly, we don't have enough data to know how stable the wild populations of them are, so please stick to other cute fish. You should probably just leave the sea moths in the wild and get another species. Trust me, there's no shortage of cute fish. There are so many different species of cute fish. Fish are cute. That about wraps up our discussion of sea moths. Now you know, sea moths exist, and they're very cute, and they're very interesting. If you liked this video, please subscribe because I make similar ones rambling about animals you maybe didn't know that much about. That's all for today. See you soon.